What is up, everyone? Calling all angels. We are dealing with the World Cup today. So, all right, let's shrink this down. I'm going over my picks for the upcoming tournament here. I've also got all the teams listed. So, I've got a couple upsets because, as I've seen from many World Cups, there's always some matchup that goes off, wrong in some way. So, starting in Group A, which actually is about to start, so this thing should be going up right before game time. We've got Mexico, we've got South Africa, South Korea, and the Czech Republic, Czechia. So, fairly balanced group. Mexico would normally be the runaway, I would feel like, especially in their home country. However, that's not going to necessarily be the case with so many injuries. I do expect them to be a little off their game here, and so I am going to peg South Korea actually to win the group. I think they're the strongest overall unit. And so I think they win here. That's, by the way, if you're not looking at this in color or colorblind, I've got the first pick in red, second pick in blue. So the group winner I got being South Korea, and I've got Mexico still serving as the runner-up, but honestly, it's a fairly even group. I could see South Africa going through. I could see Czechia being really strong and even winning the group as well. So this really is just going to come down to who shows up. I'm going to give Mexico the nod to still advance simply because they have the home field advantage, but I don't think they're necessarily the best team in their region right now. Moving on to Group B, we have Canada, who I am going to pick to win it because with the home match, anywhere else I would pick Switzerland to win this group, but at home I'm going to give it to Canada right now. Switzerland I will have go second. Bosnia-Herzegovina will definitely be a game challenger. Qatar as well was pretty solid on their home field during the World Cup, but I think this is where they fall a little bit back to earth. I would suspect they probably sit at the bottom of this table. Moving on to Group C, you've got a pretty clear 1 and 2, I feel like, with Brazil and Morocco. I'm going to give the nod there to Brazil. Simply, they're the stronger team. They're closer to home. It's fairly straightforward to me. Morocco at second, though I do think Scotland is absolutely capable of pushing them, and they could end up taking that slot. Haiti, I think, is going to be on the weak side of this, but you don't know. They've had some good moments. If they can get hot for a couple of weeks, maybe they find themselves advancing. Last of the host groups, Team USA. This, like a lot of the teams, I am very underwhelmed by Team USA right now, and I do think just their home field will still get them through. They're kind of in the same boat as Mexico, I think. But I think Paraguay is the strongest unit. Honestly, I think Australia is second. But I'm going to give USA the nod at home to take second in the group. Group E, we got Germany, who I think is the runaway number one in this group. I think they'll go 3-0. Between Ivory Coast, Curacao, and Ecuador, I've got Ivory Coast going because they have the experience. They've played at this level before, as has Ecuador. But I think I look at the two. Ecuador always seems to come up a little bit short. They underwhelm, and I expect that to be the case here. So I'll have Ivory Coast going 2. Curacao, this is their first run. If they can even steal a point, it's a big accomplishment. Moving on to Group F. The Netherlands and Japan and Sweden. Even Tunisia isn't bad. I do think they are the weakest of the 4, but they're solid. This is a good group of 4. Netherlands is pretty head and shoulders above, so I've got them winning it. Between the rest of them, I'm going to give the edge to Japan. I do feel like the climate's going to be a little intense for Sweden, and I think Japan's got a little bit of a strength nod on Tunisia as well. Moving to Group G. Belgium, Egypt, Iran, and New Zealand. So, obviously, this group's got a lot going on. There's a lot of things happening here. Belgium is the strongest one here. They still have quite a few really legitimate talents, even though they are starting to age out a bit. I still think they have enough to win the group. Egypt and Iran are going to be the ones competing for the second slot. I'm going to give the edge to Egypt just due to a slightly more significantly more stress-free trip in here. That said, I could see Iran slotting themselves into position 2 as well. That match will be interesting when they go against each other. Moving to Group H, we have Spain, Cabo Verde, Saudi Arabia, and Uruguay. So, Saudi Arabia can play to the level of these two in a stretch, but I think they fall short. Basically, I think it's going to come down to Spain versus Uruguay, who comes out ahead in that matchup. And I will give the nod to Spain, at least in the early going. I feel a little more comfortable with them in that spot, so here we go. Moving on to Group I, we've got France, we got Senegal, Iraq, and Norway. Norway, I think, is the weak link in this one, and Iraq, honestly, I don't think stands too well with Senegal either. So I think it will just be France and Senegal. France, huge favorite to go deep in this, and so I would expect them to get this group pretty cleanly. Argentina, I've got winning Group J in what is a fairly packed group after that with Algeria, Austria, and Jordan. Algeria and Austria in particular, I went back and forth on, but it does seem to me, I'm leaning a lot more towards the squads from Africa because we're in the middle of ridiculous hot summer, and I think that favors teams who have seen a warmer climate, which could be bad for the Euros, at least in the run here. So I'm going to say Algeria second. I do end up favoring Colombia to win Group K, pulling a slight upset here over Portugal. Just gun on it is Colombia has matched here many times. They're very familiar. Portugal, they've got a good grouping, but they still do feature Ronaldo, and he is definitely coming to the end of the road here. The Congo and Uzbekistan are going to be very much behind. And then this one's actually pretty tough. Panama can step up to all four of these teams. England, Ghana, and Croatia. I am giving Ghana the upset here. Kind of a tie back to when England, USA, and Ghana were all together in a group back in an old World Cup. I am going to give Ghana the edge to start there, moving England into the second position, edging out Croatia for that spot. Now, as for the standings, I did not go through all that to pick to see who's going into the round of 32, but as a final round of picks here, I am going to go through. I did look at how the bracket shakes out and who would end up going where. So from the looks of it, my final four, because of the way I've broken it down, a lot of the top European teams ended up overloaded onto one side. So they end up playing it out pretty much in the upper half of the bracket, where we finally end up with Spain versus France in the semifinal. And of that, I am going to give the edge to Spain on that. I think with the pressure mounting, France is good. I think Spain's time has come again. I think they'll be in the final. Down the other side, there weren't a lot of strong ones, and a lot of them were thrown into unfavorable matchups even when it was them. So just looking at how the regions shaked out, I think on the lower end we see some upsets. I've got Uruguay taking out Argentina in their match. I think Japan's playstyle actually does suit it to going to penalties with Brazil, and I think that's how they end up slipping their way out. I end up with South Korea in one semi spot and Uruguay in the other. I will say I'm gonna put I'm gonna say Group C, or sorry, not C, Group H ends up with the final. I think I like both squads, um, Spain and Uruguay. I do think Spain gets them a second time. They are that solid of a unit. So again, I'm more looking at the it's just the luck of the draw, really, the way the brackets ended up going, and obviously with third places that could go very different. But I am gonna pick Spain to claim their second title. That will be how I end up pulling it down. All right, so that's my picks. Let me know yours in the comments here. We've got the first match starting at the time you're going to see this. This will be up 15 minutes before game time. So if you're watching in the live broadcast, you'll be able to go straight into the match. So let's see how it turns out. Enjoy. If you're watching, root for whatever teams you're going to root for. Go Angels.